In this video, I'm going to cover what I believe are the 7 most common mistakes that are actually really easy to fix when it comes to filleting fish. Now stick around to the end because I'm also going to give a nice tip on what to do with the fish carcasses after you finish filleting fish. All right guys, mistake number 1 is using too flexible of a fillet knife in most applications. There are so many fillet knives out there that are way too flexible, and they don't have the rigidity for you to control the tip, and it just kind of floats around all over the place. Now if you want a knife that can fillet just about any fish in any application, the old Rapala fish and fillet is really hard to beat. There's a reason these things have been around for longer than I have, and that is because they are the perfect stiffness for filleting fish. You see that? It's got some rigidity to it, but it's still got that long tapered blade so you can make those cuts and turns in the fish, but you're not going to lose your control at the end of that knife. And that's a great knife for all around filleting. Now, that said, there is a time and a place where I do like a nice flexible blade, and I'll use that on like Y bones on pike or to get around ribs. And if you want to go with 2 knives, this one is a great option. This is the Stealth FXF Ultra Flex from Rapala. It's a little bit newer knife. It's got a little bit more ergonomic handle, and it's got a really flexible thin blade for getting in those tight spots. And if you want to go that route, you certainly can, but you don't have to. Now another knife that is just a really nice knife. It's basically the same fish and fillet, but it's called the Ultra Flex. It doesn't mean it's any more flexible. It just means it's a bit of an upgrade from the fish and fillet. It's got a really nice wooden handle on there, and it's got that Teflon coating. I kind of find myself using that one even more. So I'll leave links in the description for all these knives that I use because they really do work, and you will find yourself being able to fillet fish much better with that little bit stiffer blade than a lot of the knives out there. Now mistake number 2 is failing to bleed out your fish before you fillet them. And there's a few reasons for this. Number 1, it just makes filleting these fish so much cleaner. You don't have blood coming out of the fish as soon as you cut it open. It's just pure white meat, no fuss, no mess, and it's just a much better, cleaner way to fillet the fish. Number 2, the flavor of the fish is better. In my opinion, if you do not bleed the fish first, you're going to have some leftover blood in the fillets, and that's going to create a negative taste in those fish. And number 3, it's just a great way to dispatch fish as well. It's a clean, nice, easy way to do it. So I highly recommend bleeding your fish before you fillet them. You basically just have to cut the gills, put them in a bucket of water, put them in your live well for 10 minutes, and the job is done. It's very simple. If you don't have time to do it in the field and you bring them home without bleeding them and they're already expired, you can still bleed them out in your sink. Just cut the gills. You might have to leave them a little bit longer. It also helps if you ice them. That helps kind of compress and push the rest of the blood out of the fish. So that is a great way to keep your table clean, your fish tasting better. Mistake number 3 is trying to fillet fish with a dull fillet knife. You guys knew this was coming, and I will say it again and again. A sharp knife is an essential tool for filleting fish. It's delicate work, it requires precision, and you do not want to be trying to hack through a fish with a dull knife. Now, having a dull knife can be a result of a couple things. Number 1, poor sharpening equipment, and number 2, just poor technique and just not knowing how to sharpen a knife. And if you guys want to learn more about sharpening knives, I will leave a link down below to my full fillet knife sharpening tutorial. There are quite a few things different about fillet knives that make them difficult to sharpen compared to like a kitchen knife or a hunting knife. All those details, all the sharpeners, all the methods I use, they're all covered in that video, so go check that out. And make sure your knives are sharp so you don't struggle when it comes to filleting fish. Mistake number 4 is filleting fish on the wrong surface. So by that I mean trying to fillet a fish on newspaper when it's getting stuck to the fish, trying to fillet one on a picnic table that's uneven, trying to fillet a fish on a granite countertop that's just going to dull your knife. You need the right surface to fillet a fish properly, and that's why I really like to use a fillet board. This is just a cutting board basically, but this one's made by Rapala, and it's designed specifically for filleting fish. It's 32 inches by 16 inches. It's got the right textured surface on it, and it's got the juice groove all the way around so nothing flows off the edges of it. Or you can use the flat side as well if you prefer to use that. But I bring this literally everywhere I go that I'm going to be filleting fish, because then I know I have the right surface to fillet on. It's super, super solid. You could span, you know, a couple 2x4s or something even with it, and it's not going to bend at all. And just a really solid option for filleting fish literally anywhere. So I'll definitely leave a link in the description for that too, because it's become a really handy tool that I use all the time. All right, guys, moving on to mistake number 5, which also has to do with our surface, and that is filleting fish on a dirty table. There is nothing that bothers me more than watching somebody fillet fish after fish after fish and just plopping them down in the mess from the last fish and getting that guts and nasty stuff all over that nice meat that should be clean. So the solution to that is either you can wipe the whole table and clean it between fish, or you can get yourself one of these. They're like $5 to $10. It's just a hand squeegee. Using that board I just showed you, you just squeegee the table off and you're good to go. You can just squeegee it right off into the sink or into a garbage can or whatever you want to do. And between every fish, we'll wipe the table. It's like a clean slate and away you go. So I'll leave a link for that too. It's an indispensable tool in my opinion when you're filleting fish to keep those fillets nice and clean. Mistake number 6 is not keeping your fish cold. So believe it or not, a fish that is room temperature or warm has much softer flesh than a fish that's been chilled to, you know, just above freezing, like iced down. So an iced down fish is just much easier to work with. It's going to fillet better. The flesh is going to be firmer. So when you bleed those fish, I highly recommend icing them at least for a few minutes, you know, maybe 10-15 minutes to chill them down, and even longer if possible. I don't mind leaving fish on ice for 12 hours or even longer, because what it does is it just firms up that meat, and it just really, really helps when it comes time to fillet that fish to have a nice chilled down fish. All right, guys, before I move on to number 7, if you guys are getting value out of this video, please subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more fillet content here and a lot more coming up that you don't want to miss. So mistake number 7 is trying to fillet fish too fast. I see so many comments and things about speed. Oh, I can fillet fish faster than you, or my buddy, you know, is so slow at filleting fish. I can fillet 2 to his 1. It doesn't matter how fast you fillet the fish, as long as you do a good job. Enjoy it. Grab a pop or a beer and just enjoy the process of filleting fish and turning that game into food for your family. I don't ever try and rush filleting. And if you need to, ice the fish and come back to them later. Don't feel like you have to get it done right away when you get home. Leave them till the next morning even. If they're on ice, they're fine. But make sure you have enough time to clean those fish. And if you want to get faster, if you want to get better at filleting fish, like I said, there's a ton more content on this channel about all kinds of fish species and how to fillet each one. So check out some of those other videos, and that will help you learn how to fillet fish faster as well as more efficiently. Now, like I mentioned, I've got one more tip for you before we go here, and that is what to do with the carcasses and the leftovers when you're done filleting fish. So if it's summertime, you know as well as I do, if you throw those fish in the trash, it's going to smell within a couple days. So what I do is I bag them up, I double bag them, and I just put them in my chest freezer until garbage day. Then you drop them off, there's no mess, and they're very, very frozen, so they're not gonna smell at all. So that's what I do in the summertime. In the wintertime, if you're ice fishing, it's way easier because you put them out there and they freeze outside. But man, in the summer, it is really nice to just freeze them in your freezer and then toss them later. So there you go, guys. That's all the tips for today. Hopefully you learned something from this video. We will see you next time. Get hooked up.